watch Hello Okanagan from Vern.
Check out our brand new selection of merch. We've got Hello Okanagan hoodies and sweatshirts available on our website now.
Hello Okanagan, we're in West Kelowna and then we're popping into Lake Country. Guess what we're doing in this episode? A winter wine tour. Winter wine tour, yes, there's wineries open in the winter and it's the Okanagan, doesn't get too cold out here, and our friends over at Cheers Okanagan Tours are taking us around once again. Yet David couldn't be here, so our Okanagan Update correspondent Elizabeth is here meeting us in West Kelowna. How you doing, my friend?
I'm so excited. Thank you for bringing me along.
Awesome, cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get this going.
Can't wait.
Hey everyone, welcome back. We're in West Kelowna at Mount Boucherie with one of the managers, Mike. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How's it going?
Wonderful. I wanted to ask the history of Mount Boucherie.
Yeah.
When did it start? Who are the owners?
Yeah, so we actually just used to grow grapes from 1968, so we're one of the oldest in the valley. But 2001, they stopped sort of being farmers, and 2001 we had like a tiny little shack just up on the hill here. And then just recently, actually last year, 2019 in June, because of COVID and everything, we just opened up this brand new spot. So yeah, so it's been around a while.
So what's the new spot exactly? What did you guys rebuild or build?
So basically, yeah, the little shack we had was just a wine tasting room. Now what we've got is a 15,000 square foot restaurant, winery, and wine experience space for events and such.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Mike, how long have you been with Mount Boucherie, and like, how did you kind of get into the wine industry?
So I actually got to Canada about 18 months ago.
You're not from Canada?
I'm not from Canada. I'm not from Canada. Yeah,
Oh.
sorry. Yeah, I'm not Australian either.
I thought it was a West Kelowna accent.
No, unfortunately not. So yeah, I've been here 18 months. I've been an investment banker in London for the past 20 years or so. Had enough of it. Decided to get out of it and do something completely new. And my wife and I really love wine, so yeah, just decided to try and get wine jobs, and found ourselves here at Mount Boucherie, and yeah, like lucky for us that we're kind of building this new facility, and yeah, here we are. Yeah, a little
investment
jump from what I was
industry
doing to this,
into
but, yeah.
wine. I like that. Very nice.
That would make me want to drink that past job that you had anyway. Welcome back. We're upstairs now at Mount Boucherie with the head chef, Dan. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Very well, thanks. Welcome to the Modest Butcher.
Thanks. So before we talk about different types of food that you guys offer and everything, how did you get connected with Mount Boucherie?
So a lot of sort of the culinary and restaurant business. There's a lot of connections made throughout your career. And so I worked ages ago with Jesse Harnden at Mission Hill Family Estate, one of our neighbors here, and was a young cook at the time, but kept in touch over the years. And he let me know that there's a new exciting project going on at Mount Boucherie Winery. So you know, I pled my case and did some groveling and some begging, and they brought me on as the executive chef.
So, how long have you actually been with Mount Boucherie as their executive chef?
So October last year I joined, so it's a year and a little bit, a year and a few months here, and there's a lot of background planning and yeah, really a lot of setup to do before we open the doors.
One thing that I saw downstairs when we were doing our walkabout was a little bit of a market, and I think a meat smoke area or somewhere. There was meat hanging. I don't really know what it is. What was that?
Absolutely. So a big part of our menu and concept here, we're playing off the translation of boucherie to English is butcher. So we've got a great steak program going here, and we've got dry aging chambers is what you're referring to downstairs. So right now we've got some meat hanging in there. It's 60 days plus, and really makes a dramatic transformation in the final steak when you eat it. So we'll check that out a little bit later.
Awesome. Well, let's go chat with the head winemaker and try some wine before we pair with some food.
So we're here with Jeff, the Director of Winemaking here at Mount Boucherie Winery. Jeff, can you tell us a little bit about your history, how you got into winemaking, how you got involved with Mount Boucherie?
Sure can. About 3 years ago, I got a call from Ontario to come on out and give a little shot to this place here, and I've been enjoying it ever since.
So you're new to West Kelowna within the last, 3 years.
Yeah.
And your background in wine, how long have you been in the wine industry?
I've been making wines in Ontario for about 12 years before coming out to BC.
So tell us about the wines that you guys offer here.
We offer a wide array. We've got about 300 acres of vines, so a lot of different grape varieties planted, and the wines that we're producing are the white wines are generally aromatic. The red wines are generally really big and unctuous, and lots of fruit and tannins, that sort of thing. Ageable wines.
What do we got in front of us here? We're starting with the white.
Yeah, let's start out with the Elder Vicar. This is our Alsatian blend. It's a blend of Riesling, Muscat, Gewürztraminer, and Pinot Gris.
That just came rolling out of your mouth. That was nice and easy for you to say.
So the next wine we have is a field blend. It's called PTG. This is a wine that we grow down the Okanagan Valley. It's a field blend of Pinot Gris, Pinot Noir, and Gamay Noir.
It has a spicy nose to it.
It has a spicy nose, that's right. That Okanagan vineyard is always, every year, has a really smoky, meaty character to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're gonna figure out what food pairs with what shortly here with our chef again. And now what do we got for the third one?
No, this one's quite a bit darker.
Yeah, much darker.
Yeah, third one's is our flagship. This is a wine called Summit. So this has been in our portfolio since the winery was created, and it's a traditional BC meritage. So it's Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon predominant, with a little bit of Malbec and a little bit of Syrah.
Okay.
I think it's time to eat and figure out what we can pair these wines with.
Let's do it.
So can you just tell me a little bit about what we have in front of us here and what this would pair with for wine?
Okay, for sure. One of the most exciting things about working here is we're surrounded by wine, so obviously I think there's a food to go with each wine. So Jeff's created this wonderful Elder Vicar, which you've tasted, and so I think this cauliflower fritter that you've got in front of you will go quite nicely. It's got a tamarind glaze, which fills all the categories of sweet, sour, spicy, a little bit umami. There's a coconut yogurt on there to cool it all down, some black sesame seeds and nutritional yeast, and a little pickled shallot on there to add an extra little edge.
See, we use our hands here.
We're very classy here at the Modest Butcher and Mount Boucherie.
Now we're gonna try the next wine with what is in front of us.
So very simple house-made pasta here, some lightly roasted mushrooms. I always use a lot of herbs in our dishes. It's finished with some arugula. It's basically an olive oil sauce with shallots, finished with arugula, some pecorino cheese, and just a couple of drops of truffle, hopefully not to take over the entire thing. We're serving this with the PTG, which I find has a real earthy character to it, so hopefully the truffle and the mushrooms really play off that nicely. Drum roll, please, you've got me on the spot.
Yep.
Didn't realize how much it accentuates the flavors of the food.
Sure.
Hence, pairing.
That's right.
And hopefully each one enhances the other. You know, the food makes the wine taste better and vice versa.
And now for our darkest wine, what are we pairing it with?
Okay, so here we've got a very loose take, my apologies to Quebec, but very loose take on a poutine. We have the elements here, potatoes, cheese, and some kind of sauce, but perhaps elevated a little bit. So we call this our braised beef poutine-ish, sort of like a poutine. So it's Beretta Farms beef short ribs, slow cooked for about 3.5 hours, and then we reduce that braising liquid into the sauce. So it's not gravy, it's a little nicer than that, I think. Some thyme roasted fingerling potatoes, a little bit of smoked gorgonzola cheese here. Try not to use it too excessively, and then just some fresh herbs again, a little bit of pea shoots on top to offer a contrasting freshness. should pair hopefully very well with the Summit. The dish itself, yes, we're calling it poutine-ish. It's very much Sunday roast, components of Sunday roast as well. So a nice big bold red like the Summit here should be what the doctor ordered, I think.
Awesome, this is tasty.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. That first bite is just like takes your breath away, and even just the smell of the dish is quite aromatic and wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Do you guys want an opportunity to win some delicious wine?
Guess what? We're having a wine contest on our Facebook and Instagram page this week, so make sure you follow us at Hello Okanagan on Facebook and Instagram.
Hello Okanagan, I'm Elizabeth Flowers and here is your Okanagan update. Residents of Kelowna, get your skates sharpened because the City of Kelowna has officially opened the outdoor skating rink at Stewart Park. There are enhanced safety measures in place such as pre-booking a time in advance. Those who pre-book will be allotted a 60-minute window to skate, and there's a maximum of 40 people on the ice at any given time. The rink will be open from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. weather permitting, and the City of Kelowna is hoping to have it open for the next 2 months. After taking in 2 different large groups of cats in unfortunate situations, the Critter Aid Animal Sanctuary in Summerland is hosting 2 adoption events to get these felines a forever home. The events will take place on January 17th and January 24th from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. You can email for more information at info@critteraid.org. And the Vernon Winter Carnival is less than a month away. Check out their website, it's full of information and also a bunch of free family fun activities. You can visit vernonwintercarnival.com for more information. If you have an event that you'd like us to cover or something that you want to see in the Okanagan Update, be sure to send us an email to the email below. That's all for this week's Okanagan Update, and now we'll go back to the episode.
We made it down to Lake Country. We wanted to try this winery for a while. We're really excited. They're in the middle of construction right now, but they had the doors open for us specially to come in, and we're gonna try some wines, we're gonna get some food, and they're gonna pair it, and we're gonna learn a lot more about Peak Cellars. We're here with Heather, the general manager. How are you, Heather?
I'm great. Thanks for coming down today. We're happy to have you.
Thank you for inviting us. You want to give me the history of Peak Cellars? When did it start? When did you guys build a building here?
Sure. So this used to actually be a farm, and we opened up our doors on July 1st of 2017, and we've been rolling quite nicely since.
Nice. Yeah. This episode's about winter wine tours. Are you normally open in the winter?
Yes, and we will be. We're actually open Thursday to Sunday at this time of year, even with our construction. We do lots of really cool experiences. So we do a vertical of Chardonnay, so you get to try 2016 right through to the 2019 unreleased, as well as a stylistic change with an unoaked Chardonnay. So lots of different tours and tasting experiences for us.
Awesome. Well, let's go inside and take a tour.
Great, excellent.
Come on
in.
So we're here with Stephanie. She's the winemaker at the Peak Cellars O'Rourke's Family Estate. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with wine, what brought you into this industry, and kind of just your journey?
Well, it was a passion for science, and actually not sure what to do with that career. And I ended up working in Germany at a restaurant and discovered wine there. Basically, and made the connection that there's some kind of science involved with fermenting stuff. So that's how I got into the wine business.
So I'm familiar with the steel tanks and I see some of the barrels, but what is this masterpiece that you have here?
So this is our little concrete pyramid. So the shape that you're probably more used to seeing is more of a concrete egg, the rounded eggs. But we had an opportunity to pick up a pyramid that was already in BC. And actually it does look a little bit like our peak, like our logo. So it's our little peak tank. So it is concrete, and the shape of it being narrower at the top, it does drive some of that lees movement during fermentation and contributes a lot more to the smoothness and richness and mouthfeel and textural component of the wine. So then barrels, we've got a small red program here with Pinot Noir and Gamay Noir. And so we like to age the finished red in barrel. It's hard to ferment red in the barrel because you all have the skins to deal with, and it's hard to get skins out of a little hole like that. So, but we do have a small program to ferment whites as well. We've got a certain amount of whites that we ferment as well.
So how long would the wines stay in the steel barrels or the wine barrels? How long will they stay in there?
Being as that we're aromatic whites, everything is usually quite early to market and early to bottle. So, we're harvesting September, October, and usually by February we're starting to bottle.
When you buy a bottle of wine, there's a specific way. I mean, there's so many people that kind of air it out and then they put it through a certain bottle. What's it called? The one
the
with
Venturi or the decanter?
Yes, decantering.
Yeah.
And then the way they take the air out before they reseal it again. Is that really necessary?
Well,
is there a way it should be served? And say you have some left over, how can you shelve it again?
Very, very good question. So there's a lot of there's a lot of different temperatures that different wines should be served at that give you an optimal expression of fruit. So really aromatic whites, Gewürztraminers, Rieslings can be served a lot colder, but when you move into things like Gruner Veltliner and Chardonnay that have a bit more of a textural component to them, you do want to serve them at slightly warmer temperature than you would those other whites. And then reds typically are room temperature, just a few degrees below, depending on what your room temperature is, right? As for the decanting, that has to do with when you put it in the decanter, you increase the surface area, and it helps the oxygen at that point for a while helps open up the aromatics and the characters and opens up the wine, so you can enjoy the wine more. Okay. But when you do want to store it, if you're not going to finish a bottle and you want to store it, there are times when oxygen can be your enemy as well. So when you put that vacuum pump on and suck the air out, you suck the oxygen out of it, and it just gives you a few more days in the bottle before the oxygen would oxidize it. And oxidizing is basically like if you leave an apple on a counter and it turns brown, you don't want that to happen to your wine. But some wines, when you decant them, hopefully you're going to empty that decanter.
So would you put the bottle in the fridge?
Or
would you leave it out on the counter?
You can put it in the fridge. It slows things down, like any kind of refrigeration slows down the expiration of food. So, awesome. But if it's a red, you'd want to pull it out and let it warm up a bit before you drink it.
Well, I'm looking forward to trying some of the wine, so let's go try out some wine.
Let's do that.
So we're going to have an opportunity to actually taste some wines and then pair them with some foods. But I was wondering, have you guys had an opportunity to get onto the awards circuit?
We have actually. We're entering our wines into a lot of local and international competitions. And two of the most recent wins we've had at the Lieutenant Governor's Awards for the Fall Festival in October. We actually placed. We won a platinum award for our 2019 Riesling. Wow. And only 15 out of 744 wines were awarded a platinum.
Wow.
So it was like top 2%. And also at the SIP Northwest in Seattle, we found out that we received a platinum award for our 2019 Gruner Veltliner in the single white varietal category. Wow. And it was one platinum award for that whole category.
Well, congratulations.
So we're getting some recognition down in the sort of Pacific Northwest, down across the border as well.
Awesome. Well, we've got 3 wines in front of us here. I know where the red one came from. Let's discuss the 3 wines.
So the first wine in the glass closest, there. It's our Oak Chardonnay. So our 2019 was the first vintage of our Oak Chardonnay, and we just there's always a market for an Oak Chardonnay because there's always people that show up that they don't want Chardonnay because it's oaked.
What do we got here?
So that's our Riesling Block 11. But the Riesling Block 11 is the second Riesling that we make. We do a couple different Rieslings. So it's a stop ferment, it's an arrested ferment, and it's an off-dry wine. So there's a really beautiful fresh acidity to it, but we have stopped it with some natural sugar. So it is our sweetest wine, but it's balanced really nicely. It still finishes very dry and crisp.
And what do we have here? The red wine. We saw you pulling out of a barrel.
Thieving out of a barrel, yes.
Thieving, I love that.
Love that. So moving forward with the 2020 vintage, the red wine we're going to produce here at the Peak is going to be a blend of Pinot Noir and Gamay Noir. So we've just, late last week, we took the individual components. We had the Gamay Noir and the Pinot Noir on their own in barrel. We've taken those out of barrel, put them into a tank to blend them, and then we're rebarreling that blend just to give it more time for the character and the wine to evolve together, those 2 different components. So that's why it's a bit cloudy, because it's just been sort of stirred up and put into a tank and then back into barrel.
Just stolen right from the barrel. That's so unique though. What a great experience. Thank you.
Yeah.
And for everybody watching at home, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram because we're giving away some wine. So check us out right now, Hello Okanagan, on Facebook and Instagram. Scott, this looks amazing. You want to tell us a little bit about what you put on here for us?
So this dish was designed actually to pair with the Block 11 because of its notes of lemongrass and pineapple and everything. So it's got it lends itself to raw fish and sushi. So here we prepared a little tuna poke for you with sustainable yellowfin tuna. It's got some toasted peanuts, some radish, a little bit of spice with some chili, and some notes of sesame in there.
Thank you so much. We're looking forward to this. What was this again? What was this again, Scott? Rice paper. Hold on, I'm doing it wrong. Chopsticks for rice. Now we're ending off our tour. Thanks to you guys for bringing us out here. We got Rain here from Cheers Okanagan Tours. My friend, thank you so much for taking us around.
Oh, you're very welcome, Peter. It was a pleasure to have you, and hope to do it again soon sometime.
Before we get into the history and everything else, I wanted to talk about, this episode's about winter wine tours, and a lot of people that I told that we were going to do this were like, what do you mean winter wine tours? It's only for the summer. Tell us a little bit about winter wine tours and when people can actually go out and taste wines outside of summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So approximately a third of the wineries are still open year round, or they will open if they know there's a tasting to be done. Different parts, the closer you are to Christmas and New Year's, that sort of thing, you'll have a few less open, but the wine can be enjoyed all year round. The best part often is that the winemakers, the proprietors, the owners, the chefs, they've got a lot more time on their hands. They're not trying to keep, all 5 or 6 or 12 tables full and keep 8, staff of 8 or 10 or 12 running the whole time. So oftentimes they're the only ones there because they can do odd jobs and that sort of thing and keep the place happening in between. And you walk in and oftentimes you'll get to spend like 45 to 55 or 60 minutes in a tasting, whereas in the summer, because of the flow and that sort of thing, 20 minutes max.
Yeah, you're lucky.
In the summer, right?
Yeah.
If you're lucky. So so more time means better experiences. They'll often pour a little more, or they'll pour a little heavier, or they'll show you some projects they're working on, stuff like that. So there's a lot of value to be had.
And let our viewers know you guys aren't just for wine tours.
Yeah, absolutely. We just ran the numbers and we found out about a third of our business is wine tours, but we're also huge into transportation. So we do dinner transportation and as well as events. Weddings is a big one. A lot of people know about the weddings. We also do a ton of Christmas party and New Year's transportation. Mostly that's safe ride homes, getting everybody home safely after they've had a few. We want people to have a good time, but not make any bad decisions on the way. And then we also do a ton of ski hill transportation. We'll go to any ski hill in the province, and we do a lot of airport transportation between Vernon and
I was just going to say
airport.
YLW, Kelowna's airport. You guys do a lot of shuttle trips back and forth.
What a lot of people don't know is Sun Peaks and Kamloops and Revelstoke are both the same distance from the airport, from YLW.
Are you kidding me?
It takes 2.5 hours to get to each. Same with Big White and Silver Star, an hour from each one to the airport. So the airport's really central to the whole region.
Well, I'm going to grab in Elizabeth and Alan, the owner, and ask a couple more questions.
So, Alan, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with Cheers Okanagan Tours?
Absolutely. Both my wife and I were tour guides with another company, and we just saw that there was such a great need in the Okanagan and for elevated experiences. And in addition, so much need for weddings. And so we just love, our why is I care. And so we just love helping people. And so that's pretty much why we got started. It's just to help people.
I like that. Our why is I care. I like that a lot. Yeah.
And I know that you guys got some new vehicles. You want to describe us, I think, some 2 new all-wheel drives or something?
Yes, Peter, that's correct. We have 2 new 2020 Ford Transit all-wheel drives, the biggest that they have, all decked out. And USB cables, it's amazing, but the most interesting thing is the all-wheel drive feature. One of my drivers from Vernon just was saying yesterday that he was just absolutely tickled. He was up at Silver Star with a whole group of people, and the place hadn't been plowed, and he was able to get in and out without a blink of an eye, having that all-wheel drive. So
Awesome. Well, thank
again,
you so much for
just wanna
driving
take
us
care of
around
people.
here.
Yeah.
Thanks for being our host. Hey everyone, if you want more information about Okanagan activities, places to go and check out, places to eat, places to drink, and the behind the scenes, follow our show, subscribe below to our YouTube channel, and get more information.